So, Sabine, will you share with me what happened last week when you started with the scribble?
I didn't feel very well when I first started because the voices that I'm hearing told me to leave. Okay. And then I started experimenting around a little bit.
Okay.
And right away I started feeling better. And right away the voices weren't screaming as loudly. So that's when I decided to stay for good.
You created 8 images where you were just in such a beautiful, natural, free flow of creativity. Could you start with the health piece that came to you?
Yeah, I was lying in bed last night, but then I had this image in my mind about health and peace and how I could put them together so that they look like a cross. And at first I wasn't sure why it should look like a cross, but then I realized that only if you can appreciate your health, then that also leads to peace, and that the two of them belong together. And only if you go through really, really rough times, yes, which the cross shows too,
yes,
then you can find your health again and your peace. And that's the background to this drawing.
Oh, you focused in on the oil pastel and the chalk pastel. And you came to this metaphor. Would you be able to share that metaphor with us?
Well, I used to draw trees before many times, but when I did, there was nowhere apples there. Usually there was just the tree, the branches, and the leaves for many years. But when I started with you last week, suddenly my hands were drawing apples. And I thought, this is a beautiful way to see it, that the tree not just blossoms, the tree is ready to be harvested. And that's exactly how I feel in my life, that it's harvest time. Yeah, I would like to read what I wrote down.
Please.
The fire picture.
Yeah.
The fire of my life shines brightly again. This fire had been extinguished for many years. What a feeling to have it back. I am so thankful. I felt very liberated when I was drawing this picture.
Yes.
Because what is inside also will be outside, and there has been so much darkness inside of myself, my soul, and my mind. And now being able to look at the colors and choosing yellow instead of black for the middle, that to me was a sign that there is light again in my soul instead of the darkness. And that's what I appreciate so much about it. I've been in therapy for 18 years with the schizophrenia, but I've never ever felt this welcomed and understood, and I want to thank you for that.
My favorite part of having my son do art therapy was the change we saw was instant.
Yeah, and with him, if we were to do talk therapy, he would get off on tangents. He would just completely lose himself in conversation and, you know, go off on Star Wars or something. But with...
I'm surprised she could keep him focused with the art, but
exactly.
It seems, I don't know.
Yeah.
She's magic.
Yeah, it was just so easy for him just to put down thoughts on paper, and then he's very analytical, so that helped as well, just looking at the picture and figuring it out for himself. He loved that.
It seemed to really help with anxiety, and
yeah.
It's one of those things that so many kids now are worriers because there's so much more stress now, that it's just it's very non-threatening. It's not like you go and you sit down and it's a formal setting.
You're being told to play, and I mean, kids can do that just anytime they feel like it.
Yeah.
And that's what helps the most, I think, is just them recognizing that, okay, that I feel weird, I can sit down and do something, let's just draw pictures.
She just does it for free for 1 hour, and so expose the child to what she's doing. When we were going home, my son said, "Mom, can I please go back? I really like it, can I please go back?" I'm like, okay, you know, no problems. He can't wait to come. Like every week, you know, when he knows he's going to Jillian, he's so excited, you know, and so happy he's gonna do some art. But it also had very big effect on him emotionally. He was beating himself up, he wasn't believing in himself, he was always saying, oh, Mom, I'm not good at art, you know, I can't do anything, like, I'm not good at drawing, I'm not good at painting. And Jillian's sessions, you know, since she has everything, she has chalk, markers, paint, you know, he discovered that he's actually good at clay, at sculpturing. So, you know, and his sculptures are really nice and he really enjoys it, you know. He had some problems with bullying. Apparently Maciek was showing that, like, he wasn't maybe talking about it to me as much as he was showing it in his art. And, you know, when he has to describe what he did, you know, on the storyboard on the wall, she noticed, you know, that this is kind of a theme, you know, in his art, in his drawing and stuff. He's talking about, you know, what is happening to him at school. And since then, like, I can see a big difference with him.
We recently had a death in the family and he was very adamant that he wanted to come to the funeral and the burial and everything. And the whole way there, like an hour and a half in the car, he was drawing. He brought his construction paper and his markers and he was drawing cards to leave for my uncle who had just passed away and my mom who had passed away quite some time ago. But he left them at the grave sites and he, you know, hasn't brought it up since.
It's as if that was like a final piece of the puzzle for him. He was able just to say, okay, yeah, I've said my piece and we're done with this now. And that's so unlike him. Like, he focuses and keeps focusing and works himself up in just a fervor. And that's been happening less and less since he started doing art therapy.
And I think part of it too was he understands that he doesn't have to share what he creates.
Yeah, he likes that.
Yeah. Now a lot of it he's chosen, and he's asked Jillian if he can show us, so we sit down and talk about it together. But those pictures he drew for the funeral, he said that he wanted them to just be a secret for him and my uncle and my mom.
If you have a child and there are issues that you can't figure out or they don't seem to be working through, it's so easy just to set them down with Jillian. They do some artwork, they go over it, and it's just so, the easiest word I can use is organic. It just comes out. It just sits there on the page and you can figure it out.